as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King. It's a pleasure to be here once again at Velvet in Aloha to record this week's show and welcome our guests. We have a great lineup, a lot of diversification and a lot of opportunities to get more involved with our community, make friends and perhaps even business opportunities. Stay tuned for this week's Marbella Now.
Hey, hey.
Beautiful on the inside, beautiful on the outside. Our next guest, the lovely Virginia, is doing some wonderful things with her life, and we're going to find out what is the inspiration behind Coz You Are. I mean, welcome, Virginia, first of all.
It's a pleasure for me to be here, Nicole.
I'm taken completely by the title, Coz You Are. Mm-hmm. Being is something I think a lot of us have actually forgotten to do, to actually remember that we are, we exist, that we count.
Absolutely. Well, all started back in London. I'm from Spain. I was born here, but I kind of grew up in the UK. And in my transition and the years that I lived in the UK, I realized that it was a lack of identity within my own self. Obviously, born under this skin here in Spain, it was very challenging. So when I realized that, I was like, wow, how important it is to know who you truly are, more than the color, this hair, the fact that I'm a woman. And I wrote a song that it talks about finding the truth within your heart, and when you actually touch that point within your own self, you can see the world like with full of color and everything. And I titled the song "Coz You Are." Obviously, I had so many visions and ideas, and I started to write like a story of a film. And after that, I was like, this is not good enough. I moved to LA, living in Hollywood. Once you get an Oscar or Grammy, that's it. I was like, I want to give something more to the people. And I decided to develop a program that combines and helps you as a person to at least tackle and keep the balance within your own self. So I gathered the professionals that work on the mindset, on the spiritual aspects of things, on the physical aspects of things, and I developed this program which I titled Coz You Are. We were filming it. It's a fundamental change within your own self to make peace with that you are, and it still wasn't enough. So I contacted Derek Barber, which is the founder of JB Lunch, and I told him about all this journey that I embarked from the time I left Spain, UK, and developing all these different concepts and ideas in different platforms. And we said, let's put on events so people can experience what you actually went through, because this is about an individual journey, you know, and it's something that you have to experience. And that's really what Coz You Are is bringing the unity within your own self, and being aware, being conscious is very, very important right now in the global state that we live in, to at least have this little sparkle of consciousness within our own selves. And that's what Coz You Are really is.
Quite a journey. A lot going on with this young lady, and what a great move to contact #Better Together with somebody like Derek Barber from the J-Biz Lounge, who's always very into networking with a twist. This certainly is a nice twist to network, to bring out the best of who each person is. Virginia, what was it like for you aspiring to be this big, the Beyonce, the movie star, the have it all, and then realizing that that wasn't it, that it doesn't matter the fame, the fortune isn't going to be your solution? What did it feel like when you had that realization?
Well, you know, it was, for a moment for me, it was devastating to find out that all these glitter, illusory dreams that we sometimes have, is not really what life is about. And I realized that when I started doing acting, because over here in Spain they used to paint in black the actors, and because I'm like this, I never understood it. So I always said, one day I'm gonna go to Hollywood, one day I'm gonna be on primetime TV. I've accomplished all these things. So myself sitting one day in Beverly Hills and watching everything in life, and I was like, nah, there's something more to it. And I think that the beauty in life is really connecting to one another. Now with all these technologies and everything, we kind of ourselves disconnecting ourselves from our own selves, and having this one-to-one conversation where I can see in your eyes, I can touch you. I think it's very important. We're human beings, and we cannot forget that. We're not machines, and we will never be. So that to me is what made me like wanting to pursue it and really like take some time out. I spent like 2-3 years developing exactly this whole project, which is diverted in different platforms, and here I am today.
So what is your objective? What do you hope to achieve? What's the goal now?
Well, for me, my goal is like to reach out to as much people possible, and to create, like a re-evolution, cultural re-evolution movement, which I think is very needed, but for yourself. This is something that you do yourself for your own self. And
so what do you want people to do? What do they need to do?
Well, first of all, like to come along, get in touch with us, join to the different events that we have in plans, and have experience. And I started to take some time out, just 1 minute a day, to sit down within your own self and just be silent. That's a very good starting point, and to really understand that we have a heart, and to bring and connect the heart and the mind together is what the world really needs. And that's the good big starting point. And then obviously come together because as this grows, with the people, we can make a huge difference. If you are like balanced within your own self, and I am balanced within my own self, or at least I'm conscious of, and I can manage myself, when we come together, we can create beautiful things and build beautiful things for our younger generations. And that's my goal, to reach as much people we can here in Spain, in the UK, in America, in Asia, go globally.
Wonderful. May everyone inspire us as this young lady. Virginia, organising events together with the lovely Derek of J-Biz Lounge. It's been a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much, Virginia.
You're welcome. Virginia Bright, that's my name. Thank you so much.
Hey, hey.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the Zero Hero.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linear Director has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you.
Hey, hey.
Hello again, Marbella. It's Amanda from Silken here, and I'm about to talk to you about a problem that somebody's contacted me with, which actually affects not only them, but really is something I think that affects the whole community of Marbella, the expats of Marbella I'm talking about, of various nationalities. Mrs. Smith contacted me, and obviously Mrs. Smith isn't her real name, and when you hear her problem, I think you'll understand why she definitely didn't want her real name used. Mrs. Smith has got 2 teenage daughters, one's 15 and one's 14, and they're lovely girls. They work hard at school, they're great fun, they get on with their mum well, apart from the normal puberty, adolescent problems that mothers and daughters, or mothers and sons and parents and children generally have. But a couple of weeks ago, something happened that really scared Mrs. Smith, and this was that her daughter had gone out with a friend and was supposedly staying over at her friend's house. As far as Mrs. Smith knew, the girls were going to watch a movie, eat popcorn, have some fun, and basically just have a pyjama party. And she didn't notice a bag of clothes with the high heels going out, of course. Anyway, 3 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings, and Mrs. Smith had a phone call from the local police station, and they said, "Hello, are you Mrs. Smith? We think we have your daughter here. She's in a bit of a state. We're not sure whether to take her to hospital. Please can you come down and pick her up?" and Mrs. Smith was devastated, as you could imagine, went rushing down there in the middle of the night, panicking. She's a single mum as well, which makes the situation even more difficult, I think, because she's coping with it alone. And she found her daughter and two of her daughter's friends, and all three of them were in a very, very bad state through use of alcohol. Well, we're hoping it's just alcohol. This is what Mrs. Smith's daughters told her. Basically, a group of about 4 or 5 girls and a couple of guys, all under 16, had gone out, gone into town and got extremely drunk, and basically at their age they can't handle it, and Mrs. Smith's daughter had nearly collapsed, and in the end Mrs. Smith did take her to hospital, and the poor girl had to have her stomach pumped because alcohol can be as poisonous as any other drug. And who knows whether a drink has been spiked. It's very, very easy. When you're 14 or 15, you don't understand and think about these things. You just think about being grown up and wanting to go out and have fun. Now, this ties in with something that is very, very important to Nicole, I know, and this is a summit that she's organised, the United Nationalities of Marbella 2018, which is to be held here at Velvet on the 24th of April. And part of the summit is to deal with these sort of issues. Where do our teenagers, where do our children go? How do we give them safe spaces to enjoy themselves? And in this situation, I think Mrs. Smith's daughter so terrified herself that, and of course she's grounded for the next 6 months, that she won't be going off and doing this again. But should she have had the opportunity to do that in the first place? Hopefully, we'd like to think in other countries ID would have been asked for, and in this case it wasn't of any of them. And the youngest girl was actually 13. And we all know what a 13-year-old girl can look like with a pair of high heels, some makeup, and a few friends dressed the same, and a couple of people older. They were allowed into clubs very, very easily, and they got drunk quite quickly, and of course the situation deteriorated, and it could have ended up very, very, very much worse than it did. She could have ended up injured, run over. Our imaginations can tell us what could have happened. Apart from the effect on her health anyway, apparently she felt absolutely awful, which is punishment enough as well, I think. But this raises the problem. We need safe spaces. We need to talk about teenagers. We need to talk to teenagers, and we need to talk to the people that provide services for teenagers and find safe ways of them for them to enjoy themselves. And we're hoping to do this. Nicole is hoping to do this, I know, with whoever is interested in helping through the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit. So I spoke to Mrs. Smith. I also spoke to Miss Smith, the younger, and she's very, very sorry about what happened, and she has realised perhaps that she wasn't behaving in the most sensible or healthy way, and it hasn't affected her relationship with her mum, thankfully. So, just to remind you, 24th of April, get in touch with Nicole King, look at the website for the United Nations of Marbella Summit, and get involved, because we want the community to be a happy, healthy and good one. Thank you very much. Goodbye from me, Amanda.
This year we're celebrating our 3rd United Nationalities of Marbella Summit. This year we're actually going to be holding it right here in Velvet. For the first 2 years we've joined together our community to see what things perhaps as a community we could do to help each other. And this year we're putting those projects that have come up, those most important ones, into practice. We hope that you will check out our website, MarbellaNowTV.com, look at the UNMS 2018 tab, and perhaps register to join us. 24th of April coming up in just a couple of weeks in Velvet. We'll be starting at 10 in the morning till 2, discussing all different things, as I say, that we can do to help each other, and then from 2:30 to 4:30 a cocktail luncheon if you want to stay for that as well. That's it for this evening. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hasta entonces.
And it's time